Okay.
Sorry about that.
Hello again. I'm Evan Stone. I'm the co-organizer of Michigan Python. I've been doing Python stuff for a little over a decade, I think. I'm the lead developer at a law firm right now. I'm also an associate attorney there. I've been an attorney longer than I've been a Python developer, which is lame. I wish I could go back in time, but that's how it is. And tonight we're going to be talking about making a Django website with the help of Claude Code and some of Claude's agents. So that's fun stuff. We've done some AI things in here already, and it's great. And there's just I don't know, it's such a vast space. There's lots more to do. So I want to try to cover some of that stuff tonight. Because I play with it all the time, and it's just yeah, it's a fun world. So I always ask these kinds of questions. So here goes. Can we get a show of hands in person and online who has used Django before for anything? Okay. About half the room. And what about online? Anybody? Yep. Cool. And you can raise your little icon hands too if you want. Okay. I love Django. Our whole tech stack at work is rooted in Django. And I think my the company before that was also doing everything in Django. It's great. You can do a lot with it even if you're not building web apps, just because it has such a powerful ORM. So I'm going to talk through some of the initial things you need to do to set up a Django project. I'm not going to recreate all of them here because that's boring and something could go wrong. So I already got the project prepped before starting, but I still want to talk about some of these things because they are important. The IDE that I'm using is PyCharm. I know we've got some PyCharm fans in the house. Again, show of hands if you're interested, if you like PyCharm. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. Got about three in the room. And did anybody? Yep, Mike. Okay, some online as well. Eduardo. Yeah, love PyCharm. And the recent versions of the PyCharm IDE have all kinds of Django stuff built in. If you're going to create a new project, you can say you want a Django project, and it's going to download the latest version of Django for you. It can automatically create a Git repository. It's going to create your virtual environment for you, where it's going to install everything like Django and all the standard libraries that come with that installation. It's great. It saves you some time and some headache. And the other cool thing is it integrates the Django management commands. If you look down here, you can see this is a like a shortcut panel to access the Django management commands. And this is available to you in PyCharm once you have installed a Django project. So that's pretty great. This Django project is called Sachs. This is named for Carol Sachs. She is an artist who is she's a friend of a friend, and she has a bunch of paintings that she's trying to sell through her website. And her website is a janky old PHP website. I forgot that this is going on YouTube. It's a great website. But she wants to update it and add some functionality and yeah, just modernize it and that kind of thing. So this I'm using that as an example for this test project. So that's the name of the project, Sax, and then there is an app created within the project. Django lets you just do start app to create the app, which I did, and the app is called Gallery because the purpose of this website is to be a Django web gallery. So when you run that, it creates the gallery folder for you, and it makes all of these initial files, which is super cool. I mean, most of them are pretty empty, but it gives you the framework to start building within. So we've got the virtual environment, we've got the gallery, we've got the project file. Those are all there. The templates folder is created for you. I'm not going to open this one. I do want to talk about it briefly. This is my environment variable file. This is where you can store things like login credentials for the different APIs that you use, or login credentials for your database, even if it's a local one. And that way, when you start publishing all this stuff to GitHub, you don't share your hard coded passwords, which I know you don't have. Nobody's doing that, right? No hard coded passwords. So you store them somewhere like a .env file that never gets added to your repo. It just stays local to your dev environment or your production environment, whatever you're using. So I've also set that up here, and I will show you. Oh, and to the typical way to access this within a Python project is through something called uh, it's .env. There's Python dash .env, I think is the library you use. There it is. So you can install that, and that will let you read the variables that are in your .env file. And so this, I'm going to show a few things that are not part of the standard. Um, how do you minimize this? Nope, I don't want to dock it to the top. I'm used to just dragging it to another screen. Oh well, if anybody thinks of it, tell me. Wait,
What are you trying to do?
You go
hide.
to hide.
Oh, it
Including
should
theme
be
controls. There it
oh,
goes. Awesome. Cool. Press escape to show them again. What if I have to hit escape for something else? Okay. So maybe we can look at the Git history of this. Okay. Yeah. All right. No, I added that from the very beginning. So never mind. And the controls are back. Um, so these were imports that I had to add. Well, that's actually the command, but I added some imports here in the settings file. These are non-standard, and that's just to make sure we can get to the environment variables that we need. Uh, a lot of this other stuff is automatically generated by Django, super handy. You do need to fill in some allowed hosts if you're going to be testing your local dev server. This is all done for you. This is done for you. Your templates, this is already done for you. And then in here, your databases. So a lot of people start off just entering their credentials right here in the settings, which is okay, but it's a bad habit to get into. So we have replaced this with calls to the .env library where it's grabbing those variables from your env file. And then I also encourage folks to set your time zone correctly because you will thank yourself later. So that's in place. The project is in place and the app is in place. And now I think, also make a database. I encourage you to make a database. Django will default you to a SQLite database, which is okay for some really basic testing. But if you alter anything in a table, it's going to wipe the table completely and recreate it from scratch, right? Any SQLite users out here can verify that. Yeah, I don't think you can modify any columns in a SQLite database. I think it just, at least not with Django. It's gonna wipe it and recreate the table. So watch out for that. I'm using a Postgres backend. I made a little Postgres database just for this project. So what we want to do is hop into Claude Code, and I want to show my Claude Code configurations because you do a lot of stuff with Claude Code that you cannot do with just Claude in a web browser. I want to talk about MCPs real quick and show my MCP configuration, and then we'll jump into the rest of it. Also, let's see. I'm going to open this and share this link because if you're going to use agents with Claude Code, I strongly recommend reading through this, at least this first intro page, and then dig into some of the more detailed stuff because it's extremely helpful. And there's also a good YouTube video on it. It's maybe 20 minutes long, and it covers so much stuff with using agents in Claude and giving you some tips on and best practices and that kind of thing. And it's definitely worthwhile. And there's some good security tips you should know too. So let me paste that in the chat. Boom. All right. So the MCPs that I'm using for this project, and these are, well, I guess they're MCP servers, Model Context Protocol servers, are Playwright. Show of hands on that one. Okay, Playwright is for browser control. There's another one called Puppeteer. I've played around with both, particularly with Claude Code, and I like Playwright better. Puppeteer just has some weird quirks to it, like viewport locking is the most annoying of those. Anytime it's doing stuff in the browser, uh, it tends to lock the viewport. And so even if you expand or contract the window, the viewport stays the same size. So you can't test anything that's responsive. You can ask Claude to like relaunch it with a responsive viewport, but then when it stops to take a screenshot of something, it goes back into a locked viewport and you've lost all your responsiveness again. So if you're doing any kind of modern web development where you want to see that responsive, behavior, use something like Playwright instead of Puppeteer. I'm also using the Postgres library, and that might sound just crazy powerful and dangerous, and I think it is. So they have hard coded it to be read only. I have not found a way to override that, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, the Postgres MCP for Claude is read only. The ways around it are to ask Claude to use the Django DB shell management command, and if it goes that way, then it can have write access to your database. The other thing I've seen Claude do a bunch just on its own without prompting is creating Python scripts for your Django project that you can run that will then write things to your database through the Python script. It's kind of wild. And there's also one here for Git. There's a GitHub MCP as well, but I don't have enough faith to use that. So I do the Git stuff and I look at it, and once I decide it's okay, then I push it myself. So Playwright, Postgres, Git, and also there's a file system one if you want to be able to look through your files. Usually I'm just grepping through files and things like that. I think if it gets to the point where it wants to write to files, it asks you like every time, and you get to say yes or no. We'll see some of that stuff in just a second. But those are the four MCPs that I like the most for my projects. Okay, we're going to launch Claude, and we're going to see an MCP error right off the bat. Boom. Y'all see that at the bottom in red? Well, not in the room because oh yeah, you can. It's this damn thing. Escape. Okay. Um, yeah, so there was a little pop-up about an MCP server having failed. You can type /MCP to see what's going on, and it's the Git MCP. This is a very common bug. I've read that a lot of people have experienced this. What's going on here is that this server has to run in Python, and you've got to have a library installed to run it. I do have that library installed in this project, but I don't have that virtual environment activated. So that's a common issue with this. So if you just go in here, activate your Python virtual environment, launch Claude again, no more error. Actually, wait, they all failed. Hang on. Or is that just an old screen? Okay, yeah, that's just old screen. So they're all running now, which is fantastic. Yay. And we're ready to develop something. You might have read and heard things about telling Claude to think and getting a better response out of Claude if you tell it to think. In my experience, this is totally true. Um, the other thing, huge tip, and this has worked out for me beautifully, tell it to come up with a plan before you let it write any code. Like have it plan something, have it think about its plan, look at the plan, and then you can start building code piece by piece from there. It totally helps. So we want a web gallery. We're gonna start out with some basics, and also uh, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna ask Claude for the most popular features and functions of a web gallery, but I'm gonna ask you guys too, and you just call it out or put it in the Zoom chat. If there are features that you think a web gallery needs, we can add that and see if Claude will include it in the plan and then see what it does from there. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to try to dictate some of this. Um, there we go. Claude, why does it say that? We are building an online web gallery in Django. The Django project is already set up. Please think about this project and come up with a plan for creating models, views, and templates for a basic online web gallery. The gallery should be responsive. Use something like Bootstrap for responsiveness. Go ahead and show us your plan. And then the fun thing is you can take the plan that it creates and you can save that in the Claude MD file, which is just like it's kind of like the project knowledge. If any of you have ever used Claude projects, no? Okay. So here we go. Yeah, but we've got plenty. Okay. So it's giving us some basic stuff. Design and implement database models, configure media file handling in Django settings. Yep. And another thing I like to do is once you do give it permission to start writing things, start committing so you can roll back the commits yourself. Because there's some things where Claude acts like it will be able to roll back for you, but it doesn't always get it because it doesn't remember everything that it's done. So let's look over this. I'm going to give everybody a minute to see what it's suggesting, and then we'll turn it loose. Or you can stop it and make corrections while you're looking at stuff. So did anybody put anything in the chat for features? Okay, nope. Anybody in the room have any changes to suggest? Any additions?
Magnifier feature.
Okay. Like just clicking the thumbnail to see the full size image, or like a rollover magnifier? That is pretty fancy.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Okay. Um, no, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna say
Start small.
okay, let's do that. Let's do that. I was gonna ask it to like add it to the plan, but don't implement it yet. Okay. So this is interesting. This because I've done some of this stuff already, and it gives you different results. But also we're using Opus 4.1 now, and I think I was previously using Opus 4. So we've got three basic models: category, gallery, image. We have a proposed URL structure, which looks pretty sensible to me. And we've got some standard views: list view, detail view, image detail view, category list view. Okay. Got our base template, our gallery list, gallery detail. This is a lot of stuff. Responsive Bootstrap 5 design, image lazy loading. Okay. We're going to say, this looks pretty good. Why don't we start with a requirements.txt file? Go ahead and give me that now, and we can download some libraries while we're continuing to plan. What?
It's like a system architect already of like, oh, giving orders here, there.
You know, so this is probably the first time you're going to see it ask permission. Here we go. So it's asking to create a file. We're going to say yes. Now, I don't know if you saw it. There was a very brief pop-up about shift. Oh, no. It's right in there. Shift tab. If you hit shift tab while you're in the middle of a Claude session, it's just going to start writing stuff. Like you have given it permission for the rest of the session. I love all this nodding back there. We're going to have to talk about this later. Because you've clearly done some of this. So did anybody, I don't know if anyone caught this in, where would you have caught it? I'm just going to open this again. Oh, it was this looks like a huge list of libraries already. It was the MCP Git server that loaded, I think, 80% of that junk, which is kind of wild, but that's what it is. So I was going to highlight this because I remember when I created the project, it's going to grab the most recent version of Django that's compatible with your version of Python. Anybody note that in there? Django 5.2. Did anybody catch what was happening in the requirements file? No, it's an older version of Django.
Oh,
So this kind of thing will happen.
base.
And so this is why you can't just you're counting it to do everything completely for you. You got to watch it. So 5.2.5. So let me say
Done something wrong. Train it.
that looks good, but we're actually using Django 5.2.5. Can you give us the list of requirements again with that change? And it should just roll with the Django misspelling. It didn't get it. Okay. So we're going to create the requirements file. Sure. And we're going to go in and edit it ourselves.
Opens back for good.
That, yeah. Then there's the requirements file. Ta-da. So 5.2.5. All right. And I think these are all yellow just because they haven't been installed yet. That's probably all that's happening there. Okay. Key packages include. All right. So we're just going to go in and pip. Oops. No, I'm in the management thing. I need to be in terminal. What? Yeah. Pip install requirements. Hopefully these all go smoothly. All right. That was pretty okay. Okay. And I think we should step through this gently. Go ahead and create the models py file first. And I'm gonna hit Shift Tab for this one, for this command. And we'll look at what it creates, and then we can tweak it from there. Oh, Django Crispy Forms and Bootstrap. Wow. Looks like it just wrote a file. There it is. Okay, it's starting with the imports. And because we're committing in between everything, we can see the changes like as we go along. Let's scroll back and see what all the models were. It was gallery, category, and image. Ooh, now we got some stuff. And there it is. Anybody see anything wrong? Any suggested changes? Yes, no?
It's a bit too fast.
What was that?
It's a bit too fast.
He said it was too fast.
It was too fast. Okay. I will share this stuff on my GitHub. It's EF Stone. Okay.
I'll feed it to chat GPT instead of chat GPT things.
Yeah, no, I've watched people do that. It's great. I mean, have you tried it too? Just like have one look at the work of the other. You get some great feedback. So, okay, now it's telling us about the models that it just made. So we've got our category model, which organizes galleries into categories. Auto generates URL slugs, optional for galleries. Gallery model, main container for images. Okay, looks good. I say we go for it. We'll make our migrations. And those are the three models. I'm gonna hit migrate. Cool. Looks like it did it. I think the next thing we should do is make an admin. Go ahead and create an admin py file for those models. And once it creates the admin py file, I think after that we should do the urls.py so we can actually access these things. And is the admin already activated in settings? It's in there by default, right? You don't have to manually include that. Yeah. Has anyone used the research mode on the Claude app, either mobile or desktop? Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can like activate research and give it some kind of prompt and then just close the app and your phone will notify you when it's done and it gives you the results. And like we were looking up something, we're actually, my fiance she's a lawyer too, she's a public defender, and we were looking up some stuff about like DUI laws compared like state to state. And we hit the research mode, let it go, and next thing you know, it was like 5 minutes I think it worked on it, and it said it had reviewed 490 sources and then like put together this really comprehensive response. It was amazing. So yeah.
Used 100,000 gallons of water. Yeah.
Sure. You know, we'll all have local models soon enough, right? Okay. So it looks like it's crossing through its own to-do list here, which is kind of cool. Oh, and I forgot to save its initial plan as an MD file. Let me ask it to do that and see if it can do that. Yeah. Go ahead and save the original plan you came up with as your claude.md file so we can refer to that knowledge later.
Just go ahead
Oop.
with that and
That's just me talking. So does anybody follow Liz the developer on Instagram? No, that's a great channel. She's got a lot of good stuff. And she had a response to people speaking to their AIs and like personifying their AIs and stuff. And she's like, no, that works. It's all like it's trained on human language, and when you go back and forth with it that way, sometimes you do get better results. So yeah. I do still refer to Claude as an it instead of a he. I have my boundaries. So, okay, created Claude.md with the complete development plan. Sweet. Architecture details and progress for tracking future reference. Great. That if you, I'll show you the slash commands real quick because we didn't really go over those at the beginning. There's a bunch of slash commands built in. This list, I feel like this list has tripled since I first started using Claude Code. But one of the commands that people tend to start off with is just it's the slash init, and that's especially if you're using Claude in a project that already exists. It's going to look through your code base and it's going to figure stuff out and just kind of summarize it and give you the key points and the key bits of functionality. It does all that, and once it has it in its summary form and refers to it later, it saves it the time of going through the code base again and figuring all that stuff out. So, okay. And what's next? What's next? Let's just ask it and see what it wants to do. I want earls.py because I want to go look at the admin and just see that stuff is there. And then I'm going to tell it to load a bunch of images before we even get to building a view. How much time we have? We've got some time. We should configure media file handling in Django settings. That's great because I just said I want to start uploading. This is crucial for uploading and serving images. Let's update the settings py file. Boom. Okay. And this, doing it in chunks, which I also appreciate. It just makes sense to me. Okay, so there, yep. I don't even know what that is. What is Django cleanup? Has anyone ever used that? No. Crispy forms, I tried once. All right. Okay, here's the file system. Well, do you know if it can it ask to do this even without the file system MCP? Also, what's your name? So
Justin.
Justin?
The creating one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can ask you those questions without enabling the file system MCP? Okay. So we're going to let it do that because that static folder does not already exist. And it should be making a media folder. I think that's still Django default. What else has it done? We didn't look at the admin yet. This looks good. It's all pretty standard Django stuff. And I can't believe it has done so much stuff this fast. I've built 2 websites from scratch with Claude Code so far. And it took a lot of handholding, but we still got some pretty great results. One was a Wagtail site, and it did so much Wagtail stuff that I didn't know about at all. Okay, configured media file handling. Just as an experienced Django developer, I think there should be a media folder, and I'm not seeing one. Nope, media URL, but did it make the folders? Did anyone see it do that? I didn't. So we're gonna hop out. Media. It is. When did it do it? Wild. Okay. You can do Claude resume to get back to the conversation you were already in. Also, and it's going to just show you like a list. It's supposed to. There we go. No, I don't know what happened. I broke it. Claude resume. Okay. Yeah, we only had one conversation, so. All right. Earls.py. Please create the earls.py file or edit it to fit this project. Yeah, I don't see one yet. Well, it's an empty one. We've got our admin URLs, and that's it. this is probably a good time to commit some stuff because it's just going to get crazier from here. Ooh, so it asked to create it, but the file already exists. So what do we think it's going to do here? It should, yeah.
Oh, different voice.
Really? Where'd it put it? Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's a Django thing. But the original URLs.py has to reference it, right? Yes. Okay, make this edit. So now it's doing both. Looks like. There we go. Okay. So it's incorporating. Oh, this is new. To me anyway. Anybody ever use this? I saw it do this one time and it was terrible. It messed a bunch of stuff up. So I don't know if I want that. And we don't have the Django debug toolbar loaded, do we? Was that in our requirements? Oh, yep, it is. Well, we're not going to use it for this. And we are going to commit. Oh, if anybody who does use PyCharm, you've probably played around with Junie. That's the it's the AI, it's the agentic AI for PyCharm and other JetBrains products. There's like the JetBrains AI, and then there's also Junie. You can, when you add your stuff for, wait, do we want all these? When you add your files for staging to a git commit, you can click on Junie to generate a commit message for you. And sometimes they're pretty good. That one was terrible. Well, that's just not detailed enough. All right, forget it. Let's do this instead. Right. Right. A commit message and commit all the staged files. And it will tag itself in these commit messages so that if you do publish this to GitHub, it shows Claude as a contributor, which I know they're doing lots of metrics on that. And I think that's fair if it helped you. Okay, so yes, we're adding that to the commit. Okay, and there's the commit message. Created a gallery, created category, gallery, image models, Django admin interface, set up the URL patterns, media and static file configurations and settings. Cool. So this is everything. And then where's the little no reply? There it is. So it throws that in there. So it's going to get tagged in GitHub. Yeah, proceed, do the commit. And then once it actually does it, we should see that reflected. Cool, successfully committed the changes. All right, I'm going to find these files. There's a bunch of image files here, and I'm going to copy them over to this. I'm going to call it raw images. Let's see. All right. There is now a folder called raw images in the project folder. Please find a selection of larger images in this folder and write a Python script to add those images to our database in accordance with the design of this project. We'll see what it comes up with for this. A lot of times these one-off Python scripts, it will create it, it will ask permission to run it, and then once it runs the Python script, you can check and see if it did the right stuff. And if it did, it will then ask to like clean it up later, which is awesome. But okay, I can see there's a raw images folder with many image files. While it's thinking, we'll flip through these for fun. So
While we're waiting on that, was there any questions online or in the room?
cute.
It's gone faster, slower.
Not in my experience. It's pretty consistent. The slowest thing I've ever done has been the research option. Okay, It's still cogitating. We're almost a minute. While it's thinking, I will show off let's see, waybar.org. This was a site that I built in an afternoon with Claude Code. It's it's a wagtail site, which is cool. These are just images that Claude helped me find through Google image searches. Um, there's not a lot of content here. You just have to blame the people running it for that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's like a whole it's Wagtail, so there's like an admin interface. Is it just an admin? Yeah. It did all this, which is just crazy to me for like one afternoon and Claude Code. And I mean, Wagtail is not super complicated, but still building out the Wagtail templates and stuff, and then actually populating the pages. This was a project where you really had to keep an eye on Claude because it made all this gorgeous content and it was technically just hard coded into the HTML files. Like they were not HTML templates loading content from a database. It was just the images were embedded, all the text was embedded. And I was suspicious that it was doing exactly that. So I had to catch it and tell it to go back and fix it. Okay. Yeah, so here it is. Here's the script. Populate gallery.py. Do you want to create it? Sure. And now it's probably going to say, do you want to run it?
So hard coded as and you can't modify, like changing.
Exactly. And like that was the whole point in doing it in Wagtail. So the people I was developing it for could do all the, the content maintenance on their own without coming back to me. Okay. Make migrations. What is it? Why is it making new migrations? Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's doing this because it didn't know that I already did the migration. So we're going to resume. No. I already ran the migration, period. Go ahead and pick up where you left off with the populate gallery script. Here we go. I'm so excited. If this works, I'll be thrilled. Oh, let's look at the... Wow. Do we believe it? You think so? So much trust here. Right? Let's go to media, calories. Dang, look at that. Well, it got to the right folder. Okay. Let's see if oh. So, and this is where you can just say, you can copy all this and ask it what's going on. It's good with copy and paste. I tried to launch the dev server and got this error. Oh, we didn't ever tell it to make views. That's on me. It's going through its to-do list as it's supposed to, and we didn't let it get to that step. But wait, hold on. If we went, yeah. Oh, we can always blame the user. If we did, oh no, it didn't allow that loading. Let's check the database. Okay. There's our tables. Select all from gallery. Yeah. Okay. It's got some stuff in there. And what was the other one? Images? Or just image? Hey, there you go. So it's writing to the database. So its script actually worked fine. And the images got put in the media folder. And now it should be creating the yep. Do it. Make the views. Yes. Wait. No. Okay. It's wanting to test the run server for us. We already have the server running in PyCharm. So let's just relaunch it and see if we get the same error. We didn't. We got a different error. Right. New error. This truly feels like vibe coding, you guys. It's great.
Yeah, bring a beer.
Mm-hmm. I didn't tell you what's in here. So yeah, there's there's going to be a bit of hand holding, but oh, and now it's looking through its own stuff because it has to find what's wrong because what it thinks is there doesn't make sense with everything else. Also, we changed that and now it's trying to write it back. Let's just let it add it back, all that stuff that we erased, and try again and see if we get anywhere. Now the server should work. Okay. Restart. Refresh. Nope. Templates. Let's make our templates. I see the clock running out, but I've got faith. And the bootstrap integration. Making new directories. So Justin, what kind of stuff do you need the file system MCP for?
I have used Claude a lot, but I actually haven't used the MCP server stuff.
Oh, okay.
I see those.
But you've seen all those prompts already without it.
It can do all sorts of actions. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it might have a default allowed list of what
Okay.
commands are there. I know you can set it explicitly, but I think there are some not explicit.
Okay. Cool. And oh, the other, I want to show this real quick because yeah, there it is. This is the Claude MD file that it created. Oh, and there's a cool thing in PyCharm where you can preview Markdown. Yeah. And it's supposed to just scroll along with the raw text. Yeah, so this was the Claude MD file that it made based on its the initial plan that we told it to make. If it's still thinking, create base HTML. Yeah, let's do it. I've run, let's see, I think I've run Claude Code on 3 projects that already existed, and it was uncanny what it put in the Claude MD file in terms of like what the functionality of the project was. That was pretty wild to me. So play with that if you haven't yet. And all right, do it. I'm gonna hit Shift Tab. We're putting in auto accept edits.
Roll the dice.
Yep.
Feeling lucky.
Right? I mean, that's what Git's for. Something in the chat. Oh, you're saying we should add access control on shared images? Like in what sense? Wait, that's Antonio online. That's not Anthony Yu. I don't know why I'm asking. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
I think he posted that when you're asking if the original content looked okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any other questions online while Claude's
Thinking.
using up all of your tokens?
It's fine. Anyone?
So it seemed like you had some luck like having it run some commands. Have you tried ever like having like if you have unit tests, having it edit code, but make sure it validates the unit test before it is done
I've
and
done
like
it in steps.
in steps? Okay.
Yeah.
You can't just like tell it to iteratively.
So I
cycle?
haven't done that with unit tests, but
Okay.
with Playwright, I've had it like look at a page and then and say like, keep checking this page until it looks like this.
Yeah,
And it
perfect.
will rewrite the code, reload the page, take a screenshot of the page, analyze the screenshot, and then we'll go back and rewrite the code. And I
Okay.
watched it do those back and forths,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is super cool, but I haven't done it with unit tests.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's
Thanks.
neat.
I can speak to it a little bit. I haven't done it personally, but I've seen some people talk about they are being driven towards test-driven development because you can have it in like a unit test cycle. So having those tests can have it run pretty autonomously, like where you can just have it continuously iterate until it can pass the tests. Although sometimes it hacks the tests I've seen as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tests are failing. They must be wrong. Let me change them.
It's still going. How many files has it made now? Let's see. Where's our templates? Base. Whoa, wow, look at all that. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Oh, I don't know if anybody has ever played with this feature of PyCharm, but if you have flagged the directory type as a template directory in PyCharm in a Django project, when you're looking at the template file, you can go into this preview mode, and as long as your dev server is running, and as long as you have some, I don't know, is this going to be an integer? Well, okay. So nothing for that one, but yeah, you get to see these live previews of things. And if you click the same icon again, it will move it to the bottom, which I usually like way better. And yeah, you can go in here and make all these changes to your code, and it updates immediately with whatever data is dynamically being loaded from your database. So that's just not a Claude feature, but a PyCharm feature that I really like. All right. It says it's ready. Let's try one more time. Oh, look at that. Wow. We got something. Dang.
Fine glass.
Yeah, we gotta add that next. So we did it. We made a website with Claude Code in 50 minutes, 45 minutes. And and then you just got to work through the errors slowly. So, real quick, just because I wanted to show this, I'm gonna say open Playwright and go to this link and fix the error you see. Oh, hang on. It's really bad about doing it in headless mode. So, uh, with the GUI, not headless mode. We want to watch you. I'll open Playwright. Yes, and don't ask again for Playwright. It defaults to Chrome. There we go. There we go. And so it's going to take a screenshot of this error and read the error on its own and then work on it. So yeah, don't ask again for Playwright taking screenshots. Just do it and auto accept edits. So yeah, this is the powerful stuff when it's checking its own work. And you can even tell it to like go through all the URLs that you expect to exist on this site, or at least the base URLs, and look for errors like this and then fix them accordingly. So it's kind of wild. It identified an issue. Aha. Okay. This creates a conflict. Yeah. So I know we're out of time, but I'm just kind of letting it run in the background. But if anybody has anything, I see a couple things in the chat. Okay. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks, Eduardo.
Any other questions for Evan, anyone, or comments?
Ooh, it loaded that time. Ooh.
Do you run into an issue using that where the context of your conversation with it gets too long? Like if you use like Gemini Pro, for example, if you're in the same chat for too long,
Yeah.
it just starts spitting the same thing over. And if you go to a new chat, it'll do way better. Does that
Yeah.
happened with this or no?
I usually have more conversations than this. This is one of the longest conversations I have. I'm using Claude Max 20x now, so I think it can handle it. But when I'm normally working on a project, every new task I'm asking it to do, I start a new conversation. So, yeah, good point. I think that's something to watch out for sure. I can't believe we have a halfway working website right now.
Here's with the MCPs, because I haven't set those up. How much setup is involved in getting like the Playwright, for example, to
It's super easy. Like they're all Node packages. So you install it with Node. And then I think the biggest thing to remember about it, just for like security, and also I had trouble running it without this, is giving it nope, it's not in the settings file. I think it's during the installation. You define the scope when you're installing it. And I think like the narrowest scope I could give it was the one that seemed to perform. And the other ones I was having issues with. So, and then yeah.
I'm curious as well with the Git one specifically. I know Claude uses like the GH commands, like the
GitHub commands.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't use any of those.
No.
I don't
Do you
trust
find
them.
these work better or just
Yeah, it's been fine for me.
Hmm.
Like like you can, I'll do a git fetch and you can still say, hey, go check out this branch and like look what's different in this branch. Because then it's gonna infer what the PR is about.
works well
And
enough
so
anyways?
yeah, and I got a PR for this. Here's the branch that it's in, and it'll look at all those differences and give you feedback on that. And yeah, and then you have to have this file for every project. So there's just like your MCP settings file as well as your Claude MD file, and there's also like the local settings. You probably mess with that, but yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Sure. Ooh, what's this one? Oh no, that was just the.
Any other questions, anyone?
Oh, and it closed Chrome when I killed Claude.
Have you tried any other products similar to Claude Code by the other big providers? I know you mentioned something about having ChatGPT check Claude's work.
Yeah, I was using ChatGPT for a while, and the ChatGPT API. I haven't used any apps, like any standalone apps from OpenAI. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, just ChatGPT API and some of the weirder models where like models that would return JSON responses specifically, like when I needed stuff really broken down. And it was great, but I don't know, when I switched to Claude, I just kind of never went back.
Thanks for
Cool,
that.
thank
I
you.
saw John said, very interesting. Thanks for showing us how to do this. First time attending, and asking if the recording will be available. It will. We'll post it later this evening or maybe tomorrow morning, but it'll be on the YouTube channel.
And I can
Thanks for
put
coming,
this
John.
gallery stuff on my GitHub.
Anything else, anyone?
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, you're welcome.